All right, check 1 1 2. Check 1 2 3. All right, cool. So my latest video, my thoughts on the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So my time in both the islands has been nothing short of a great experience. I met some amazing people, had some amazing food, and definitely enjoyed some amazing weather. Uh, it's it's been an experience like no other being in the Caribbeans. Uh, One thing you'll hear a lot of people talk about with the Caribbeans is that it's so relaxing. The pace is so much more slower, much more tranquilo than the U.S., particularly in the East Coast. A lot of people from those two islands, they tend to migrate to the East Coast, particularly New York City area, Boston area, and then also the southern Florida. Um, when I got to, uh, let's start with Puerto Rico. When I got to Puerto Rico, um, my first time going was in 2016, and I arrived in the country of the city of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Just give me a moment. When I was there, I noticed that the people were super, super friendly. I mean, super friendly. It was an experience that I hadn't actually experienced since my time in Nippon, or as they call it, Japan now. And had to close the door there. It's a little loud, but when I went there, the people were so friendly. I mean, it was like an experience of no other. I mean, but for what I experienced previously, 2 years prior when I was in Japan, I experienced something like it, but with the Caribbean, it was just like a even more relaxed feeling. People were really friendly. The weather was nice. And it was just a great time. I took an Uber from the airport. The airport was named Louise Marin International Airport in San Juan. Took that to my lodging in San Juan. Later, went to the beach, Condado Beach, and got to see the Caribbean for the first time. Whew. And actually, my profile picture on my YouTube channel, it has the backdrop to the Caribbean Ocean, and where I took the picture when I was in Condado Beach. Great time. It was the weather was nice that day. I think it was like 80 some degrees. I was walking barefoot on the beach. I really, really enjoyed myself. It was just because I hadn't been to the beach in like years, and I think the last time I was at the beach was in Yokohama Beach in Japan. And so when I got there, I was like, "Whew, this is amazing." And the water in San Juan definitely topped anything I saw in Japan. Like, it was just royal blue water. It was like something. It was like picturesque. It was just like something that you see out of like a magazine or something, you know. But I really enjoyed my time there. Later got something to eat on the beachfront area. Uh, and I think it was a dish. It was called mofongo. Yeah, mofongo. And actually, mofongo. The national like the premier dish there in Puerto Rico, and it's also in DR as well. But it was great. It was well seasoned, and it tasted delicious. I definitely recommend it. Mofongo. Puerto Ricans, when I would talk to the locals, like, where does this come from? Some would say, a few people said DR. I think they were Dominican, but most people said Puerto Rico. Even some of the other Dominicans I talked to that was there, and it's kind of like a talk. Like, some people will argue about where Mofongo originated from, but it was a great meal. Later on, I went to a part. I wanted to really experience the people and the culture, so I took one of the buses that they had from the Condado area all the way to Old San Juan. And Old San Juan, you never been. Is a city, is a neighborhood in San Juan that harkens all the way back to the 1500s when the Spanish came near and they built their forts. Most notably, the Fort El Moro, which is right next to Old San Juan. It's it's uh it's one of the oldest. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the oldest fort in the United States. I could be mistaken about that, but certainly one of the oldest forts in the United States. And it was the area that they had set up for if any intruders wanted to come on the island, that they would defend the island that that they stole from the Taino people. Um, so I toured that area, got to soak in all that history, the rich history, and the culture of that became the culture of Puerto Rico. You see the Puerto Rican flags hanging around. Walked through the area, saw the different shops that was there. And really, I saw the shopping was really big, particularly near where the cruise ships were at. So, a lot of the cruise ships, they come to the Old San Juan area. So you would have all the different shops. You had the cobblestone roadways. And then you just had the old style homes that look like they've been refurbished, if I'm not mistaken. But beautiful part of San Juan. I definitely recommend if you haven't been to Old San Juan and you want to see it. Arguably, I'm pretty sure this is the case though. The oldest city in America, in the established United States. Go take a trip to San Juan and check out Old San Juan. You'll love it. Especially if you're a history buff like me. So after that, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I met up with a fellow battle buddy. He was in the army, and we chopped it up. He told me about the island. He'd been living there for a few years. He was a tattoo artist, and so he was telling me about his ambition, wanting to go to Brazil. But he got detoured in Puerto Rico and decided to stay. He loved it. So he was talking about his ambition of being a tattoo artist after getting out of the army. And he was showing around the island. He told me the do's, the don'ts, where to go, the best clubs. A lot of the like if you're into like nightlife, you're going to find a lot of that near Coronado Beach. There's a walk. Once you cross over this bridge, you'll have a set of hotels, and then you'll have like restaurants and little bars and shops you can go to. And I believe there's some clubs around that area, if I'm not mistaken. When I've been there in the past, most of the clubs I went to was in Old San Juan. So that and also there's a place called what's it called? Placita. Placina. What's that place called? La Placina. I went there the last time. It was like it's kind of like trying to think, what could I compare it to? The area looks kind of like Cascajillo in Panama City, Panama, but I'm trying to think. I'll write it in the description. I forgot. It's off the top of my head. I don't know why it's not coming to me, but La Placita, something like that. But I party in two places when I'm in Puerto Rico. That place that is slipping my mind at the moment, and then Old San Juan. Old San Juan's more like the classier area. That's where you see a lot of, a little bit more sophistication. I did some salsa dancing there. Really great time. I definitely recommend if you are in San Juan, you visit Puerto Rico. For nightlife, definitely is going to be San Juan, hands down. And Old San Juan is going to be, if you're concerned about safety, it's going to be the safest place. There's a lot of police presence there, and that's by design. Like I said earlier, the cruise ships come in that area, so they make sure that area is safe. And then also, it's going to have the more premier spots there, the best restaurants, et cetera, in Old San Juan. Another thing, so salsa dancing is really, really popular in Puerto Rico. I like the Latin dance, and I kind of got hip to it when I was living in Baltimore, and I took up some more salsa dancing when I was down in Puerto Rico. Great time. They really get down. They the way they do it is, it's really smooth. Um, and it's definitely a great experience. If you're not like, if you don't do salsa dancing a lot, they offer classes there on Airbnb. Like they have a section called experiences, if I'm not mistaken. You can um, look up classes. Like you can pick the day you're gonna be in the city, and then you can pick what you're looking for, like salsa dance. You type in salsa dancing, and they'll have classes, particularly on Fridays and Saturdays, where teachers are teaching the class. They also have cooking classes where you can practice cooking mofongo and making mofongo too. So these are some of the things that's offered. You can check out Airbnb.com. You can also check out site that I use, and I wrote about it in my blog on melanatedmagic.com. It's Viator.com is a trip advisory affiliated website, and on it you can find different excursions, different activities you can take part in, to include classes, cooking, and dancing and whatnot, wherever you travel to. I highly recommend it. Viator has many places I've traveled to has been one of the more premier travel hookups. So definitely recommend it. Also, if you are looking for more of a more intimate local experience, I would say, in my experience, the Viator is really good for, like, it's very commercialized and tend to be the more better run spots. But I know when I did the Airbnb tours, it was more of a, like, how can I put it? You got more like a local feel. A lot of times it might be one or two. It might be a local person running it, and they don't have the backing like a major corporation like Viator does, and the associates part of that. But they are locals there, so they know the culture. So they're gonna take you to the hidden spots that are not a part of like um, the major businesses in the area. So I definitely recommend that. So I spent an extensive amount of time in San Juan. Actually, all 4 times I've been to Puerto Rico, I spent most of my time in San Juan. But I've also traveled to other parts of the island, to include Ponce, which is the second biggest city on the island of Puerto Rico. It wasn't too much going on there. Checked out a few restaurants. This was about 6, 7 months after Hurricane Maria, so it really wasn't much. It was still reeling from that hurricane. When I was driving through the island from the north to the south, you could see the light posts are still down, but it was beautiful. As I was like, even almost an hour out of hitting Ponce, which is at the tip of the southern part of the island, center part of the island, southern part of the island, you could see the ocean. You could see the ocean from afar. An hour away, it was beautiful, and it's just a main highway, and you're driving through the whole island. You see a bunch of green on both sides. I saw a few towns in the mountains. It was different. It was very country, very rural, to say the least. When I got to Ponce, like I said, it wasn't too much there. Checked out a few restaurants, but the lights were still out in many of the places. So I had to head back up to my lodge in San Juan before it got dark. So around when the sun started to set, I headed back up the 3-hour ride, which it was, back up to San Juan. Also, I went to very central to Puerto Rico is something called bio bays. They had 3 of them on the island. One in Fajardo, one in Cubra, Isla Cubra, or is an island off the coast, the east coast of the island. I believe it's called Cuebra. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I believe, but start with C. I'll write that in the comment section too. But it's an island, and they have a bio bay there as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe Viator, they have a